First of all, it is an honor to be here with Emil Constantinescu, President of Romania in the 1990s. Emil's story inspires today's presentation, directly inspires it. And am I allowed to, Emil, President Constantinescu, tell a little bit of your story at Duke? Okay. In 1989, my father had fled communist Romania in 1969, and he got out on a merit-based scholarship. That's an important detail because that's what the Rhodes is. It is a merit-based scholarship. It doesn't matter who you're related to, how much money you have, what connections you think you got. It is, are you an excellent student? And then you will be competitive. So if you imagine how accessible that is for somebody, in his case, coming from Galați, very remote part of Romania. He was a basketball player. He didn't have connections, but he was able to study at MIT on a merit-based scholarship issued by the Romanian government. So that's my dad's story. He broke Romanian law, he didn't come back to Romania. Details, lived the next 20 years in exile. That's how he got out. And he became a world-famous scientist. You might have heard of my father, Cristina Bejan. He is a member of the Romanian Academy. And that brings me to 1989, with the Romanian Revolution. I was 7 years old, and in Durham, North Carolina, where I grew up, we watched the violence on television of Romania's revolution for freedom. And following the revolution, my father wanted to be part of building democratic Romania, and he started an academic exchange program to bring the most excellent minds from Romania to Duke University in North Carolina. And we welcomed President Emil Constantinescu in the early 1990s, who was a beneficiary of the Duke and Romania program. At that time, he was an esteemed professor at the University of Bucharest. You know his story. I think he returned and became rector of the university, and of course, we know president of Romania. And I view this as there's continuity in my father winning a merit-based scholarship, President Constantinescu being selected by Duke and Romania. Both are international scholarship exchange programs. And then I followed in their illustrious footsteps, I hope, and won a Rhodes Scholarship in 2004 in Washington, D.C. I am the only Rhodes Scholar with Romania. I'm a Romanian citizen, a dual citizen, and my mission on this particular trip to Romania is to get the next Romanian or Moldovan Rhodes Scholar. I can't emphasize enough how important this is in our world right now. I will get to explaining more about the Rhodes in a second. But when I won the Rhodes Scholarship, it was 100% a merit-based opportunity. I was a theater major of all things. I broke my father's heart by studying drama, and I was a philosophy double major. And I had a professor, and this is so important to the Rhodes, who pulled me aside after class, a philosophy professor. I went to Northwestern University, which is in the Chicago area. And he pulled me aside and said, "Cristina, you're really smart. You should apply for the Rhodes Scholarship." And at the time, in the United States, we only knew the Rhodes Scholarship because of President Bill Clinton. He was the most famous Rhodes Scholar that we knew about growing up in the 90s. Dear friend of President Constantinescu, President Clinton. They were friends in the 90s, but when you're an American student and you grow up thinking that Bill Clinton is a Rhodes Scholar, people like me, who were theater majors and nerds, I was never going to be a political entity, so I wasn't necessarily thinking about the Rhodes. Needless to say, I applied because I had this amazing professor who believed in me, and of course I ultimately won. And now that I'm a member of this global elite, because that's what it is, we are 5,000 Rhodes Scholars around the world who believe in we're around the world. I'll get to the evolution of that. And we all believe in fighting the good fight. And we fight the good fight through our chosen areas of expertise In my case, through education and the arts. In President Clinton's case, through politics. We have scientists, we have Olympic athletes, we have all kinds of different people. And we were all selected on academic excellence, character, i.e. proving that you're a good person, capacity for leadership, to be a leader in the world, in your community, and then also service. And this is important. We were talking on the way, on the drive up here, in terms of Romania having, needing to have more of a philanthropic mentality. So that is important. If you know young people you think would be eligible for the Rhodes, they need to have practiced some kind of service, whether that's volunteering or starting an organization to help other people or raising money for different causes. Service is a core component to winning the Rhodes Scholarship. Is it possible to start is the volume working now? So while it's coming up here, I hope that the intellectual trajectory is clear by now. My father gets out of Romania on a merit-based scholarship, then he's inspired to open up the United States to Romania after the fall of communism, bringing world-class minds like President Constantinescu to Duke on an international, prestigious exchange. And fast forward 2004, I win the Rhodes Scholarship to study at the University of Oxford. So we see the trajectory here. Be excellent, and you will be able to study abroad and pursue amazing opportunities. And President Constantinescu is dear friends with President Clinton. I got to hear all about that. That was just really cool. What's going on with global? This is important, so let's pause right here. I promised that I would mention how Rhodes spans the world. The Rhodes Scholarship was started in 1903 by a Southern African diamond tycoon, Cecil Rhodes, and he was looking forward, and he believed that the British colonial powers would be the hands in which the world would be a safe place. So initially, the recipients of the Rhodes Scholarship came from the former British colonies, including USA and Germany, just randomly. And within the past 10 years, we've opened up to the rest of the world. And that's why this trip to Romania is so important, because Romanian and Moldovan nationals are now eligible for the Rhodes Scholarship through the global constituency, the global category. This is huge. It means that this is truly a global meritocracy. Anybody can win the scholarship. And last year I served for my first time as a selector. Important detail about the Rhodes, we self-select. Probably don't want to rub a Rhodes Scholar the wrong way if you want your child to be selected as a Rhodes Scholar. But the young man that I selected is from Haiti, and he is our first scholar from Haiti in the history of the Rhodes Scholarship. So what is the Rhodes Scholarship? I've already mentioned a little bit of the history, basics, funding, and fees, social life. We'll get to these slides. Could you be a Rhodes Scholar? 18 to 24, sometimes 26, you're eligible. How to apply, we'll talk about that. And some myth busting about the scholarship. The most important thing to remember is that really, if you're an excellent student and a great human being, you're probably going to be competitive. So, going forward, please. What is the Rhodes Scholarship? I mentioned it was founded by Cecil Rhodes. It is known today still as the oldest and perhaps most prestigious international scholarship program in the world. Our reputation as the world's most distinguished academic scholarship rests not on the controversial life of our founder, Cecil Rhodes, but on the enormous contributions our scholars have made to the world. And I mentioned these qualities. The qualities sought in a Rhodes Scholar: academic excellence, concern for others, energy to lead others and oneself by demonstrating mastery. And these remain as compelling as they were over a century ago. Just a quick note about the demonstrating mastery. Historically, meaning when I was growing up in the 90s, everybody thought this meant that you had to be a professional athlete. You demonstrated mastery by playing on your varsity basketball team. Bill Bradley, a US Senator, was a professional basketball player. But that's not what it that it doesn't have to mean that. Of course, you can be an athlete, but in my case, demonstrating mastery was being a produced playwright, a professional actress, theater director. I'm a theater artist of so many dimensions, so I have mastery in that domain. Just an example. Carry on, please. We have some important alum. Of course, Bill Clinton, the most famous one. And I'll come over here so I can read better. We have some Australian prime ministers, Pakistan prime minister, Jamaican prime minister, and 2 cabinet secretaries, senators, governors, mayors, of course. I think it's important to emphasize this because it is our heads of state are who give the Rhodes Scholarship, I would say, the most visibility globally. And before we move on to the other famous alums, it is important to be clear that we are all, whether we're theater artist Cristina or friends of President Constantinescu, we are all in the same network. So we are approximately 5,000 people around the world who are in constant contact with one another. If you consider the way nation states are acting these days, of course, in our globalized world, it's more important than ever to be part of a community on the international level that is fighting the good fight, has common values of making positive change. You don't have to be Bill Clinton, but it's nice to be in this club, right? We have Nobel Prize winners in medicine and economics, business leaders from all different constituencies, inventors, media. This is Rachel Maddow here. She's a very, very famous TV presenter in the United States right now. George Stephanopoulos, he was a classmate of President Clinton and worked in the White House with him. And Chris Christopherson was a very famous Hollywood actor and country singer in the States. He passed away last year. Last week, I visited the Fulbright Commission here in Bucharest. Senator Fulbright was himself a Rhodes Scholar. This is extremely important for 2 reasons. He was inspired to start the Fulbright Association because of his experience as a Rhodes Scholar. He knew the value of earning a scholarship to study overseas, and he saw the power of intercultural exchange. And he was inspired to found the Fulbright, and I hope we all are aware of just how impactful it has been ever since. And this is the second point, the very, very sad point. It is being dismantled right now in Washington, D.C. So it is, in all likelihood, we won't be having a Fulbright Commission in Bucharest anymore or anywhere in terms of Romanians applying for a Fulbright scholarship to the States, or people like me. I was a Fulbright scholar here at the University of Bucharest to work on my PhD. So we're not going to have Fulbright. It looks like we're not going to, as of today, anymore. But what does this mean for us as Rhodes hopefuls? We have the Rhodes to apply for. Please direct any young, exceptional Romanian students who wanted to apply to a Fulbright, tell them to apply to the Rhodes. Okay, ready to go with the next slide, please. So I already mentioned how the scholarship opened up to the rest of the world. I think we can go to the next slide, please. So these are all of the official constituencies. You'll recognize that most of these are former colonial places. And then, about 10 years ago, the scholarship opened up to China, and alongside of opening up to China, it opened to the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia and UAE, and some other locations. And a couple years after that, we have global. Anybody across the world can apply. Please. Quick note about global. I was the selector last year, which I shared, and I was very disappointed to see that only one Romanian applied for the Rhodes Scholarship. Only one. And then I was told by somebody who, an Aspen Institute, Aspen Institute here in Romania, Aspen Institute contact, well, Romanians don't know about the Rhodes. And I thought, why don't you tell them? So please, even if you're not eligible for the Rhodes, tell everyone you know. Tell the youth, tell your kids, tell the high schools, tell everybody. What is it? So I've talked a lot about it so far. If you win it, what does that mean? You get 2 full years of funding to study whatever you want at the University of Oxford. You have to have finished a bachelor's degree, so you can't start at Oxford if you don't have the credential of a BA. You have to be admitted to a master's program in order to attend Oxford, of course. And as things, the University of Oxford, arguably the best university in the world, arguably. And so every year it becomes harder and harder to be admitted to Oxford. So you not only have to win the Rhodes, you have to earn admission to Oxford, just something to bear in mind. After your 2 years, if you want to do a doctoral program, you can apply to the Rhodes Trust directly for a 3rd year of funding. That is merit-based, not everybody gets it. So going into the Rhodes, you definitely got 2 years, maybe a 3rd year. I was very fortunate, I did earn a 3rd year and I completed my DPhil. So yes, please. What does it cover? The Rhodes Scholarship is so generous. It is absolutely generous. And you also have the opportunity to work as a Rhodes Scholar. So this is not one of those, sometimes when you go abroad, you have to sign a contract that you're not going to take a job on the side. It's not the case here with Rhodes. During my time as a Rhodes Scholar, I worked as a nanny for a family for the 4 years that I was at Oxford. So I was a nanny, and I also taught summer school every summer, and I did research on a consulting project. So you can earn as much money with other things as you want. It covers your university and college fees, your transportation, your study visa, your flights to Oxford, going back home as well. Quick note about college. University of Oxford is a college system. So these are residential colleges, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale, they have the same design. So you will be admitted to the university when it comes to the faculty, the discipline that you're studying. We call that department in the United States. And then, of course, in the college, where you will often be, living and having your meals and your libraries there, etc. Your friends are there. Okay, ready to go, please. What makes it unique? Read this description. Rhodes Scholars, unlike other scholarships, join for a lifetime. A unique and vibrant international community of scholars. Our character, service, and leadership program form part of the scholars' personal training. And then we have events at Rhodes House. So this is where I would say the home base of everything with the Rhodes Trust is. It has a library, we have dinners and socials. Rhodes House hosts talks, seminars, forums, world-leading experts and guests, often alumni come, famous alumni and give talks. And also, if your family's in town, they can stay at Rhodes House, so that also have a residency component as well. You can carry on. Could you be a Rhodes Scholar? I touched on this earlier. We come from all backgrounds. And we really welcome applications from talented young persons of diverse backgrounds. And this is what we look for. We're going to go through each one. Academic achievement and excellence. So, to be honest, I've read lots of applications and I've conducted interviews. The young person is not competitive if they are not the very, very top of their class. So, when somebody's considering applying, if they're not the top of the class, then they'll probably not be competitive. So that's the starting point. You have to be the most excellent academically. But then where you can set yourself apart are the other dimensions that I mentioned. Energy to use one's talents to the full, as demonstrated by mastery in areas such as sports. Remember I talked about this? Music, debate, dance, theater. They finally put theater in there. And artistic pursuits, particularly where teamwork is involved. I'm going to just hit on this real quick. I mentioned Olympic athletes. We have those. Music. We most recently have a conductor, a symphony conductor, and also a symphony composer, classical music. So music is represented. I see a debate a lot in terms of what people are competing in. Dance, not so much. Visual art, yes. Seeing more of that. Teamwork. This is extremely important. In our world where everyone is for themselves, and it's becoming more and more the case, or at least it looks like that to me, as I am an educator, so I do see young people. This teamwork element is so important. They need to get along with other people. They don't need to be popular. We're not looking for people who are popular, but we're looking for people who can get stuff done. And often that means passionate. What are you passionate? What are you passionate about? What do you care about? Because that's what will, inspire you to actually act, to get people together and execute, right? Teamwork, passion. The courage and skills required to lead with a wider desire for public good. This is the service component. Of course, when we have heads of state, it's very clear what their service is. But, for people like me, public good, how am I involved in my community? I have an arts and culture platform. We produce and promote local and international art. We have a lot of collaborations with the Romanian Embassy and also the Romanian Cultural Institute in New York. So my service, in a way, has been in the arts, and also I view my promotion of the Rhodes here in Romania as service. So you have to be giving back. It's a lifetime commitment, lifelong commitment. Okay, and finally you need truth, courage, devotion to duty, sympathy for and protection of the weak, kindliness, unselfishness, and fellowship. This kind of sums up to say you have to be a good person. Of course, it's kind of hard to tell if somebody really does have a good heart from reading an application, but I will give an example of when I noticed somebody did not qualify. In a recommendation letter, a professor wrote that this student it was really amazing that this student was so tolerant of atheists. And I was like, okay, no. no, that means that student and that professor are judging another faith group, right? So you can kind of see who has an open mind and who doesn't. We're not saying everybody should be the same religion, absolutely not. But in Rhodes House, with people from all over the world, in the Rhodes community, you have all religions. You have all colors of the rainbow in terms of racial and ethnic diversity. You can't really include people who would discriminate within that community, right? Have to have an open mind. So ready to go? Eligible. You are eligible. Romanians and Moldovans are eligible in this global constituency, the global category. I want to say a quick plug. If you're not Romanian or Moldovan, that's okay. Now everybody in the world is eligible for the Rhodes Scholarship. So Ukrainians can apply for global. Bulgarians can apply for global. We're going to look after our own today and encourage Romanians and Moldovans to apply, but now everybody can apply, and that's wonderful. In terms of age, 18 to 24 years, under 27 years, provided you completed your undergraduate degree within the past 12 months. So that's really an exception. 18 to 24 is the rule. And so imagine if you're doing medical school here in Romania, which is an undergraduate degree. If you finish before age 24, you can apply to do the Rhodes at Oxford. So in the third point, you must have completed or be in the process of completing your undergraduate degree. I did mention that already. 3.7 out of 4 or higher. I would, honestly, after having read so many applications, you should be having a 4 out of 4 to make it worth your effort. So these are all the documents that you need. We don't need to go over them. I hope you'll make this available, the presentation, to the group. Okay. Applications are open June 2nd. That's when the website opens. Your first round, paper-based screening. So that's when people like me, wherever we are all over the world, are sent like so many paper applications to read. And we're given, it's actually extremely fair. It's all anonymous. And we're given a grading sheet of how to rate everything and rank everything according to the Rhodes criteria that I've been over. And so out of those paper recommendations, we make our recommendation of who deserves an interview. And that's the telephone interviews. Those are on Zoom. They're virtual interviews. And if you pass that interview round, For global, again, we're in global now, you will have your final interview taking place at the University of Oxford and you'll be interviewed by subject matter experts. So all along the way, these applicants will be assigned people who know what they've written about. Every application I've read, I had expertise in somehow. But if they make it to the very final round, it's going to be the best Oxford professors, seeing if they can do it. Okay. Myth number one, the myths. I'm not the type of person who can win a Rhodes Scholarship. Yeah, I definitely believed that myth when I was in college. So no, that's not true. Anybody is the type of person. We welcome applications from talented young persons of diverse backgrounds. Selection is made without regard to gender identity, marital status, sexual orientation, race, ethnic origin, color, religion, social background, caste, or disability. We have an incredibly diverse community, so none of that is part of our merit-based selection. Myth number two, I have to be the top of my class. Well, maybe that's a myth, but I'm telling you, after reading so many applications, you still need to be close to the top. Academic excellence is as important as you will need to be able to gain entry to the University of Oxford. However, equally important is your commitment to serve others. Right, so this was my emphasis about service, giving back. Ready to go for the next one? I can't apply because my country is not listed. Every country in the world can apply because we now have the global category, which we've discussed. Myth number four, you have to have done months of volunteer work abroad or started your own NGO. Answer, as long as you demonstrate that you have worked to improve the lives of others, that is what counts. It can be done in a multitude of ways in your own neighborhood. You will also need to be able to talk in the interview about what you hope to do in the future. That's very true. Myth number five, most scholars end up as political leaders. Today's Rhodes Scholars include presidents and prime ministers, but also medical researchers, social workers, artists, journalists, lawyers, teachers, activists, poets, doctors, and many more. All the socials. Rhodes Trust is actually, I think, really excellent social media, and since it's the application season, there's so much information about how to apply right now. If you go on Rhodes Trust Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, you'll see so many resources there. It's a great way to keep track. And yeah, I think that's the final slide, is it? Yes, please. Now I would like to have a Q&A. Hopefully, we can have a discussion here. Thank you so much for having me, and please don't be shy about questions. This effort that I have launched on this trip, I feel is only the beginning. It is a matter of getting the word out. As more and more Romanians and Moldovans apply, of course, it's a numbers game that they'll be more likely to be selected, somebody from our region. So honestly, any questions you might have or recommendations, please ask.